All right, so we are in a code red situation here. We've got to get Mama to her doctor appointment, and that's a big deal. So we're going to be speeding. We're going to be breaking some laws. She's going to be sliding around in the seat a little bit because I'm going to be going fast. I'm going to be putting the pedal to the metal. So what we got going on is she's got to go to the doctor because she's got a hip surgery coming up soon. And this is what you do. Get her to the doctor. What my mama gets, what my mama wants, my mama gets. Okay? So, now that all the shit in the back seat sliding around, try not to laugh too hard as we're shooting this. I'm trying to be serious. So, yeah. We're riding and talking a little bit here. What I wanted to talk about today, specifically in this video, is I wrote a post rather, a couple days back saying that I would give you a video really talking about how to not care as much. I called it the art of zero fucks, and I basically will shoot a serious video. You deserve a serious video. I'll probably post it on my YouTube because that's where most of the video stuff is going nowadays. But you deserve that full version video, and it will be good. It will be funny. I can assure you that. But for now, we're going to talk as we drive. So, you know, through the years of experience and kind of deprogramming a lot of what I've thought was important for me, I've realized that a lot of the shit that I thought was important is simply not. So one of the first things you got to understand is that people, right, like you, all of you watching this, are gonna make their assumptions and they're gonna judge you regardless. And you should probably stop caring, because whether you think you're doing everything right or you go out and try and do everything right, they're still gonna judge you anyway. And chances are they're gonna critique you in some sort of way. So whether your pants aren't ironed today, or your Chuck Taylors are a little too dirty, or your shirt's on backwards, they're gonna have some sort of judgment for you. And so you might as well just give yourself permission to stop caring so much about that right now, actually. And, oh, it's starting to rain. So that's the first big one, right? But then, like, most people, you tell them something like that, and they're like, oh, but I don't care what people think. You do. And you do because you do. So you would act completely different if you, in fact, didn't care. And understand that there's always deeper levels of not caring, right? There's always a deeper level of acceptance with yourself, letting go of, outside judgments and internal judgments, because just as much as there's people out there that are going to judge you, we do it to ourselves. So we internally critique ourselves. And I'm going to tell you about a nasty one that I was running for a very long time, very recently brought to the forefront as just something that I'm sick of dealing with. So, internal judgments you have to be very careful of, because usually they go unchecked. You don't even realize you're doing it, right? But next thing you know, you feel like shit because you didn't say sorry for not holding the door open for the guy behind you. And it's like, what? Wait a minute. Like, he's got 2 arms. He can open a door. Like, I forgot to be courteous, yeah. But that dude can open a damn door just as much as the next guy can. So it's like you don't even realize you're doing it. Okay? And that's a big thing, because if you're going to do it for something as small as that, you're going to turn into that person, we all know that person, who says sorry for like everything, and then they'll say sorry for saying sorry, right? Because you finally correct them and you're like, dude, stop saying sorry. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And then it's like, wait, did you just say sorry for saying sorry? Yeah, I don't get it either. So don't be one of those people, because we all know one of those. And so the internal judgments, external judgments, that you could literally work on for your entire life. I know people who have actively been working on that for years. So that could take you a while. Like, don't expect that you're like, oh, wow, Jay, I watched your video, and like tomorrow I all of a sudden don't care about anything. I don't believe you. The next thing too is like, it's not like a race of who cares less, right? Like, I could get naked in public, and that would be funny, right? And that would prove like how much I don't really care. But also too, I'd get arrested, and that would be incredibly stupid. So while part of me would love to just show off my junk to the entire neighborhood, I probably won't do that anytime soon, because it just doesn't really make sense. I like my freedom, and so I'll stay out of jail with that one. So it's not a race of like who cares less. Understand that like letting go of judgments has nothing to do with that. So let's talk about this big one that I had. So here's something funny, is with guys, I noticed this is really predominant, right? Like there is something built into our DNA at a primal level that says we provide for the family, we provide for the woman we're with, we provide for the tribe, okay? And when you don't do that as a man, it completely destroys you. So we're going left, okay. And so then you go out, and that's really a big driving force for most men to have success. You don't even really know why you want money, but you just know you want money and a shitload of it, right? And the Lamborghinis aren't enough, and the trips all over the world aren't enough. The beautiful girlfriend that you buy designer stuff to, that's not enough. It just, there's a never-ending thing going on there, right? So here's one that I had. We made a lot of money really quick. We grossed like $4 million in, I don't even know if it was a couple years. And that completely fucked with my head. Because what it did is, not only was I not ready for that level of success, but then when I eventually self-sabotaged and lost it all, I found myself still trying to like be that guy from like last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So no matter what I was really doing, no matter who I was, the success level that I had, I was still trying to be that guy, which is incredibly lame. And it's funny when you see it like in hindsight. And it's cool because if you don't like it, then it's just like anything else and you can work on it. Well, I don't like it. So that's something that I've been working on. And so I was living in the past, right? I was living in this past version of me that had this success, that dressed a certain way, he talked a certain way, he made other men feel a certain way, he made women feel a certain way about themselves being around me. And I just realized that I don't care about that anymore, right? And so the years that followed that, there was a massive, just light it all on fire shit fest that occurred in my personal life after that. And, is this where we're going? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me park. And then I'm gonna finish my video. So let's do a handoff, and then I'll find you.
Okay. You know.
Yeah. So, wow, that was probably really close for a second there, like almost up my nose. Let me crack the door open too. So, all right. That's the big realization. And there's a ton of people that I know. Like, don't lie to yourself. You're in my friends list too, and I know that you're living like this, and it sucks. Like, I can tell you firsthand experience that I didn't really recognize it was happening for the longest time. And then when I did, I was just like, oh my God, like it was like sobering. I was just like, ugh, I did that? You gotta let that shit go. You gotta let that go. You're not the past version of yourself. And so what I was getting at before we parked is that, you know, I didn't have the level of success for years, and I still don't have the level of success that I had back then. And that's okay. That's entirely okay, because it has to be. The past already occurred and I can't change it, but I can get clear about what I want to do now, and I can get clear about the future. And so that whole piece is such a big piece for me. I understand that because, you know, I'm running around with these really shitty patterns, which is like I'm living in like multi-millionaire mindset, and my reality is not that at all. You know, my reality is like $10,000 to $30,000 a month, and that's how it's been for like the last couple years. And I had a year, my worst year, we did what, like 150,000 for the year. And granted, that to most people is like, oh my God, I won the lottery, like 6 figures, I'm rich. Like, you're not rich. You barely buy a house in the US for that. You can lease a shitload of stuff if you've got good credit, but that really doesn't mean much. And so I was totally evaluating myself and putting my self-worth directly in alignment with the amount of money that I was making, which is just dumb, flat out dumb. And it's a nasty habit that most men have in the US. And it holds you back from being like who you really can be. And so, yeah, right now I'm not living the multimillionaire version of Jameson I'd love to be, but the sooner I can let that go, the sooner I can actually become that and more. Like the Jameson that I see in the future, like a couple $1 million is nothing. So how do you get to that? You have to release on the past, accept the present, and get clear on the future. I was really, really scared to shoot this video. And I would want to admit that to you. And I probably don't look the nearest bit scared at all. But inside, you have no idea like what was going on during the idea of shooting this and then pulling out this camera and shooting it. And it's just simply because nobody really can know what you're going through except you. And we're in a judgment-based society that, you know, the status quo and all these things that we feel is important, this massive illusion that's been pulled over our eyes, is the predominant, you know, factor. And I know that for most people, this will affect how they look at me. And that's where my hesitation was. But at the end of the day, I don't care, because this whole video and the entire topic I've been talking about is the art of not giving a fuck. So it's not about who can get into their underwear and run into the street there and that would be funny, like I can dare you to do that. Like, it's about the person who can sit in a room with billionaires knowing that he is struggling to feed himself. It's the guy who can sit in a room full of beautiful women and not necessarily get an erection because there's beautiful women. Like, it's the guy who's resolute and he's deep in his own understanding and his own truth. Become that person who just can't be rattled by other people's opinions. Oh my gosh, am I going to get a Facebook like or a comment, or is somebody going to share this? Like, become the person who's so okay with themselves that they really don't give a shit if they get a single view. Become that person, because that person actually goes out and gets what they want in the world, actually goes out and accomplishes all that they set out to do. Everybody else, well, they're too busy worrying about likes and comments and shares and how did that t-shirt look and did I look fat in this picture, should I lose weight? They're too busy worried about that. I hope that you got a lot out of this video, if nothing else, a few laughs. If you did find value, or you think that this will completely help somebody on their journey, then share it around. Tag them, do something to get this in front of their face. And I would really greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in another video.